however you conceive of the broadest category. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so again, individual and collective action and science and technology upstairs. Governance and economy and finance in the room back here, and capacity building in the room in that direction. And we'll have people directing you if you forget where the rooms are. Okay, and so we'll see you at lunch at 12:30 and then back here at 1:30. Thank you so much.
نشكركم على تفاعلكم وحضوركم لهذا المؤتمر. وصلنا الآن إلى النهاية، ولكن قبل أن نختم سيتحدث عندنا مجموعة من المتحدثين. سنبدأ الآن مع كلمة للدكتورة كلثم الغانم مدير معهد البحوث الاجتماعية والاقتصادية المسيحية لإلقاء كلمة ختامية، ثم سيتبعها بعد ذلك مجموعة من المتحدثين. فتفضل دكتورة، مشكورة.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السادة والسيدات، وفد الأمم المتحدة ومجموعة GIZ، الأخوة والأخوات، السيدات والسادة، السلام عليكم. أود أن أعرب عن خالص الشكر والتقدير لمشاركتكم الفعالة ومساهمتكم الصادقة، كما أعيد الترحيب بكافة الضيوف الذين شرفونا في هذا المؤتمر من جميع بقاع العالم. لقد استطعنا خلال يومين من العمل المكثف تحقيق نجاح ملموس ومناقشات هادفة حول أولويات التقرير الثاني للتنمية المستدامة المقرر أن يتم تسليمه في سبتمبر القادم بإذن الله. كما أن التوصيات المخرجات من هذا المؤتمر سوف تعامل بجدية كاملة لتغذي التقرير الثاني لهذا العام. وأود أن أنوه إلى أنه قد حان الأوان لنتخذ خطوات أكثر فاعلية لإشراك القطاع الخاص والمجتمع المدني في المنطقة العربية وغرب آسيا لتنفيذ خطط وبرامج التنمية المستدامة في مختلف المجالات. الأخوة والأخوات، في ختام مؤتمرنا أتقدم بخالص الشكر والتقدير للباحثين العالميين لما أبدوه من حرص على المشاركة وإثراء النقاش. كما أعرب عن خالص التقدير للأمم المتحدة على ما بذلوه من جهود خلال الاجتماعات التحضيرية لأعمال المؤتمر. ولا ننسى مجموعة GIZ الألمانية المشاركة في الدعم. وكل تقدير وشكري لمجموعة العلماء المستقلة المعنية بإعداد التقرير الثاني الدولي للتنمية المستدامة الذين شاركوا حضوريا والآخرين الذين شاركوا عن بعد. والشكر لمدير جامعة قطر الدكتور حسن بن راشد الدرهم، ونائب الرئيس للبحث والدراسات العليا الدكتورة مريم المعاضيد، واللجنة الفنية المنظمة للمؤتمر المكونة من الدكتورة سناء أبو سن والبروفيسور أركسمي بيراناغام والأستاذة آلاء الشريف والأستاذ ناصر الحرمي والأستاذة دانيا خالد والأستاذ فهد البعينين، وباقي منتسبي معهد البحوث الاجتماعية والاقتصادية المسيحية بجامعة قطر. والشكر كذلك موصول لكل من شارك وساهم في نجاح هذا المؤتمر من باحثين وهيئة تدريس وموظفين وطلاب من جامعة قطر وخارجها. شكرا لكم، وأرجو أن نلتقي قريبا في فعالية أخرى. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
شكرا دكتورة كلثم. سننتقل الآن إلى بداية مع أول متحدث لنا في هذه الجلسة، وهو البروفيسور أروكي سامي. سيتكلم عن دور جودة الحياة في التنمية العمرانية، فليتفضل.
pointer. Thank you. So good afternoon and welcome, all of you, this post-lunch session. Of course, while our body are resting, hope that our brains will pay attention to this important session, reflecting on the 2 days of our stimulating discussion, brainstorming, all of that, the last 1.5 days of discussion. Take a reflection on those discussion as well as kind of stimulate our thoughts to share some ideas, insights for the GSDR 2030 report. I'm going to share a few thoughts on promoting quality of urban life and human well-being. As you know, the GSDR 2023, there's an important focus on science policy interface, which also aims to recommend critical strategies for acceleration of transformative policies for SDGs. One of the associated strategies are building robust evidence-based assessment to inform policies and innovative solutions addressing transformative policy challenges. In that context, promoting urban development, sustainable cities in the Gulf region, and human well-being are crucial entry points for the GSDR 2030. The GSDR 2023, for example, seeks urban development process to recognize and establish a mechanism for continuous integration of evidence-based urban behavior research, the outcomes to use the outcomes in the urban policy planning process. I thought I will share a few highlights on world's urbanization level and the state of world's urban population, particularly in the Arab region. And if you look at worldwide, the world is urban now. In 2008, there were more people in the urban area than rural areas. And soon, more than 60% of population of the world will be living in the urban areas. So there is an unprecedented shift in the population distribution towards urban areas. There are more people living in urban areas and majorly driven by urbanization process and also advancing demographic transition. From the process from regimes of high fertility and mortality to the regimes of low fertility and mortality. The process also include largely demographic transition process is also referred to as the process of population shift from largely a rural population, agrarian society, to urban setting, urban population, industrial setting. So therefore, urbanization and urban development, they constitute the most crucial trends of our time. And the UN Population Prospects 2018 reports by 2030, 5.2 billion of the world's population, 8.6 billion people will live in urban centers. And the Gulf countries are experiencing the most profound demographic transformation and also the most robust growth in the last 3 decades. Let me give you a few highlights of the urbanization trends in the Arab world. If you look at this chart, as well as the past trends, the speed and tempo of urbanization is unparalleled in the Arab region. The speed is the rate of urban growth, and the tempo is the population growth that is contributed by expansion of urban areas in the world. And if you look at this chart, the Arab world, particularly the 6 Gulf countries, are almost urban world. Over 80% of the population currently live in urban areas in the 6 GCC countries, with Qatar and Kuwait 100% urbanized. for the Gulf cities are now the focus of planning. They also have a serious impact on the environmental and sustainability processes. So if you're talking about sustainable development, achieving sustainable development goals, all of that, because the Gulf region or the Arab region now is almost urban region. So how urbanization and spatial distribution of the population matter in SDGs and GSDR 2023? We all think urbanization is by default or de facto process. It is a very complex process. Urbanization determines the distribution of world population. It's one of the 4 mega demographic trends. The growth of population, population aging, and international migration, the other 3 mega trends of the global population. Urbanization, of course, therefore, is again a complex socioeconomic process that transforms the built environment, rural to urban settlements with higher per capita income, GNI, the spatial distribution of the population from rural to urban, and changes in culture, behavior, and social structure and planning, all shaped by public and private engagement. And the third is urban environment sustainability is additionally challenged by consumption patterns. We all a lot of discussion on excessive consumption or unsustainable consumption, the type of consumption pattern that is being now followed in cities and in the Gulf region and elsewhere that prevail in the urban city. These are all of these owe in part to their higher incomes, the consumption preferences, and urban dwellers tend to consume more per capita than rural dwellers generally. So what are the current urban development strategies that the Gulf countries are following in developing or building their Gulf cities? These are the 4 major design strategies that the Gulf countries follow. Build large megacities, call it Doha, neighborhood, Dubai, neighborhood, Riyadh, etc. Expanding urban exploration around the megacities, invest heavy on extensive road networks with high-capacity highways and arterials encircling the neighborhoods. Third, implement ambitious urban transport plan, part of the broader development vision, and provide world-class public services in terms of education, healthcare, and public amenities. So where do human well-being matter in urban development design? This is a conventional urban engineering development design. The components or the dimensions generally that is used in urban development planning by the municipalities. The one is the perceptual dimension, the second is functional dimension, third is morphological dimension, third is temporal dimension. The behavioral setting is only one dimension, and the environmental dimension. And if you look at what they aim for, just visual quality, identity, beautiful image, meaning, and aesthetics. Beyond that, the place, community, context, etc., they are all on the sidelines. They are not on the center of this urban design planning. And if you look at, there are 2 empty dimensions that represents what we try to understand as human well-being and urban quality of life. So what are the challenges? What we see in Gulf cities, urban spectacle, kind of urban, the way urban cities have been developed in the Gulf, fascination of very beautiful cities. So these look like a spectacle, but how far they are sustainable for the future, the Gulf cities. The unprecedented growth of cities in the Gulf states bring enormous